Hello, everyone. On this podcast episode, I'm going to explain the concept of duality again, using a magnet. And this ties into the sun because the sun behaves just like a magnet. Gravity behaves just like a magnet. So if I can explain to you how a magnet works, you should understand how how the sun, the earth, a black hole, and the universe works as a whole. The world is a world of duality, a world where two equal, and opposite forces exist. For example, if you find one aspect of something, right? For example, a magnet. If you find one aspect positive, the equal and opposite must also exist, negative. If you find one aspect tall, its equal and opposite must also exist, short. If you find one aspect past, its equal and opposite must also exist, future. If you find one aspect, one universe, its equal and opposite must also exist, many universes. If you find one aspect left, its equal and opposite must also exist, right. If you find one aspect movement, its equal and opposite must also exist, non-movement. This is a world where equal and opposites exist simultaneously as one. If you find one aspect existence, its equal and opposite must also exist, non-existence. And the truth is, if you follow the logic of duality, these two things, the two equal opposites must exist simultaneously as one. So let's take a magnet, for example, right? A magnet has a positive end and a negative end. A magnet will always have a positive end and a negative end. If you cut a magnet in half, exactly in the middle, both halves will both have positive ends and negative ends. No matter how much you cut a magnet, it will still have a positive end and a negative end, right? A magnet attracts and, is capable of attracting, right? And is also capable of repelling. If you put the positive end of a magnet to another positive end of another magnet, they'll repel each other. If you put the positive end of a magnet with the negative end of another magnet, they will what? They will attract. So a magnet is capable of attracting and repelling at the same time, right? These two opposites exist simultaneously within one. Within one magnet, a magnet can both attract and repel. A magnet both attracts and repel simultaneously. A magnet is both positive and negative simultaneously. Because a magnet is both positive and negative, right? Its equal and opposite must exist. It means a magnet is neither positive nor negative. A magnet can neither repel nor attract as well. So how can the equal and opposite be true? We already know a magnet can attract and repel, right? So here's an example of when a magnet can neither attract nor repel. There are things in this world that a magnet can attract and repel. There are also things in this world that a magnet can neither attract nor repel. Humans, you can hold a magnet without your hands, clamping onto it. Can you not? Humans are capable of grabbing a magnet all day, and the magnet will never be stuck to their hands. Humans are capable of grabbing a magnet all day, and the magnet will never be pushed away from them. Their hands will never push the magnet away from them. So a magnet's equal and opposite state still exists. A magnet can attract, repel, and can also neither attract nor repel. All states within a magnet exist simultaneously as one. All those states, its equal and opposites, exist simultaneously as one. That's how the sun works as well. A magnet, there are things a magnet can attract. There are things a magnet will repel. And there are things in this world that a magnet can neither attract nor repel. Humans, plants, animals. We also have atoms just like an atom. I mean, just like a magnet, right? A magnet is composed of atoms just like we are. So how come a magnet does not attract our body? Because all states must exist. There are things in this world that a magnet can attract, and there are things in this world that a magnet will never be able to attract. Ever. It's the same thing. It is also true with the sun as well. It's also true with gravity. There are things in this world that the sun can attract. There are things in this world that will be repelled by the sun. And there are things in this world that can neither be attracted nor repelled by the sun. The sun works just like a magnet. It attracts objects with mass. It repels electromagnetic waves. Light comes out of the sun because it's repelling light. It is attracting mass and is repelling massless energy or light. Visible, it is repelling light or electromagnetic waves and is attracting what? Mass, objects with mass, energy with mass. It's pulling in energy with mass and repelling energy without mass, just like a magnet. And just like a magnet, since it's doing both, it must also be doing the equal and opposite. There are things in this world that will never be attracted by the sun. If the sun is capable of attracting and repelling objects, there are things in this world that the sun will never be able to attract nor repel. Scientists may have not been able to find it because we're still trying to understand the world. Just like a human being, it cannot be attracted nor repelled by a magnet, right? There are things in this world that cannot be physically attracted nor repelled by gravity or the sun. We don't know where they are, but they must exist. And that's how life works. This is a world of duality. A human being is tall from one point of view. A human being is also short from one point of view. From another point of view, because a human being is tall and short, right? It means a human being is neither tall nor short. Because both opposites are true within one human, the equal and opposite must also be true. A human being is neither tall nor short, regardless of your size, because you're both tall and short. You are neither tall nor short. Perspective determines whether you're tall. From the point of view of babies, you are a tall person. From the point of view of ants, you are a giant. From the point of view of atoms, every human being is a massive cosmic being, a titan, a massive titan. So we are giants. We are as large as the earth. We may even be larger than the earth from the point of view of atoms. So are you really short? No. From the point of view of ants, we are not short people. No matter how small you are, even a newborn baby is larger than an ant. Even a newborn baby is taller than an ant. But the equal and opposite is true as well. A human being must also be short, because we're not taller than the planet. We're not taller than the moon. We're not taller than giraffes. We're not taller than trees. There are many trees that are, very, very tall. We're not even taller than skyscrapers. We're not even taller than some of these humans. The humans who are taller than you. There will always be something taller than you. So you're both tall and short at the same time. Since you're both tall and short at the same time, you are neither tall nor short. This is how our life works. All opposites must exist simultaneously as one. We exist, yet we also do not exist. Because we both exist and do not exist simultaneously. You neither exist nor do not exist. Our world is that weird. All aspects must exist simultaneously as one. If you find one aspect, its equal and opposite must also be true. Its equal and opposite must also be possible. If existence exists, it means existence must also not exist at the same time. It means non-existence is also true. Non-existence is also possible. If energy exists, it automatically proves that energy does not exist in any way, shape, or form. These two opposites must exist simultaneously as one. Perspective determines whether energy exists or not. Perspective determines whether you exist or not. From the point of view of someone who lives in Africa, right? You will live your entire life and they'll never know that you exist. You will never exist in their world. Someone living in somewhere in China, right? In those rural villages in China, they rarely ever leave their village. They spend their entire lives in their village. They live and die in their village, right? You don't exist in their eyes, and you never will, unless you visit. Unless you visit their very village. You don't exist from their point of view, and you never will. You live your entire life and die, and these people will never know that you existed to begin with. So from their point of view, you don't exist. This is how life works. From the point of view of the majority of the world, nobody knows you. Since nobody knows you, you don't exist in their world. In their world, you do not exist. But in your world, you are just as real as they are. You exist just like they exist. But since you two will never know each other, it automatically means you don't exist in each other's world. You will never exist in their world, and they'll never exist in yours. That's how existence and non-existence work. Perspective determines what exists and what doesn't. From our perspective, our dreams do not exist. But while inside that dream, it is reality that doesn't exist. The dream world is just as real as the real world. So because the dream world is just as real as the real world, the dream world will always feel like it exists until you wake up. And then when you wake up, you start to realize that, whoops, maybe that world wasn't real. Maybe it wasn't. Or maybe this world is the one that isn't real. And that one is. Are you really sure this one is in the dream? And that one is in the real world? You can never be too sure. Because your mind creates our world. The real world that we live in, our mind is the one recreating it. Our mind takes in information from the outside world and transforms it into color, shape, sound, and all the things you know. Your mind is behaving just like it does in a dream. Your mind is creating that dream just like your mind is creating the reality you're living in. Your mind is the one that's creating the world around you. Your mind and your mind alone. So are you really living in a real world? Or is this a dream? When you go to sleep and dream, is that the dream or is that the real world? Are you really sure this world is real? If you follow the laws of duality, this world is both real and not real at the same time. You exist and do not exist simultaneously. Yet because you both exist and do not exist simultaneously, You neither exist nor do not exist. There's a fourth state. Existence and non-existence aren't the only two options. There's a fourth state. The fourth, existence, non-existence, are two, then the equal and opposite. You neither exist nor do not exist. I guess it's the three options. There are three options. Existence, non-existence, and then the third. You neither exist nor do not exist. Since you both exist and don't exist, you neither exist nor do not exist. Since you neither exist nor do not exist, doesn't that mean you're eternal? Or maybe it doesn't, the word no longer counts. Because if you're eternal, it means you're also finite. These two are equal and opposite. Something that's eternal is also something that's, the word eternal is no different from infinite. Infinity creates one, and one creates infinity. If you're infinite, it means you are one. Because infinity is one, and one is infinite. The sun attracts, there are things in this world that the sun will attract. Mass. Objects with mass will be attracted to the sun. Energy with mass will be attracted to the sun. And massless energy or light will be repelled from the sun. All forms of energy will be attracted by a black hole, including light. And the equal and opposite must also happen. The black hole works just like the sun. It attracts certain things and repels certain things. It's equal and opposite because the black hole is attracting light and energy. It must also repel something at the same time. Its equal and opposite must also be true. The fact that a black hole is attracting things proves that it must be repelling something as well. What do you think a black hole is repelling? It has to be repelling something. Since scientists can't find, do not sense, can't detect any energy coming from a black hole, right? Then a black hole must be releasing dark energy. Because dark energy is the only thing that, scientists can't detect. You cannot detect dark energy. A black hole has to be releasing energy. Because the law of duality states that when something is attracting something, it must also be repelling something at the same time. There's no bottomless pit in this world. Even the bottomless pit, tells you something. It tells you that just as it's pulling something in, the pit is, pushing something out. The very concept of a bottomless pit tells you there is no bottom. It is coming out of somewhere else. The hole, it must come out of somewhere else. The water goes in, the bottomless pit is no different from a pipe. It enters the hole and comes out from the other side. Energy must always be released, just like a bottle. A bottle of water. If you carry an empty bottle of water, the empty bottle of water is filled with what? Air. If you pour water into that bottle, the air comes out and the water goes in. If you pour water out of that bottle, water comes out and air goes in. Energy is being poured into a black hole. So something must come out. Just like the sun. The sun is absorbing mass, is absorbing energy, and it's also releasing energy at the same time. Is it not? It is releasing electromagnetic waves. The sun is hot for a reason. It is constantly releasing heat. It is constantly releasing electromagnetic waves. It is constantly releasing massless energy. A black hole should be doing exactly like the sun. It should be doing, what the sun is doing. It should be absorbing and releasing, energy at the same time, just like the sun. So the fact that we can't detect what energy the black hole is releasing tells you what? A black hole is probably releasing energy that we can't detect. And the only energy we can't detect is what? Dark energy. So although we don't know what's truly occurring on the black hole, the basic laws of duality states that if something is capable, the fact that it's attracting something means that its equal and opposite must also be occurring at the same time. It must also be repelling something as well. Since it's attracting all forms of energy, it must be releasing something else. What is a black hole releasing? It has to be releasing something. It must release something. Since we can't detect what it's releasing, it means it's probably releasing dark energy, because dark energy is the only thing we can't detect. The center of a black hole is what? Hidden. Do you know why the center of a black hole is hidden? Because the center of a black hole is filled with dark energy. The center of a black hole is filled with dark energy. The sun is not hidden. Do you know why the sun is not hidden? The sun is filled with light. It's filled with heat. It is constantly releasing heat. That's why you can see it. You can see the sun out there because it's surrounded by heat. And the only thing we can't see in this world is dark energy and dark matter. The only thing scientists can't detect is dark energy and dark matter. Since we can't detect a black hole, tells you what? The center of a black hole is probably filled with large amounts of dark energy. Large amounts of dark energy, dark electromagnetic radiation, just like the sun. So a black hole is no different. There's a high chance, almost like 100% chance. A black hole is just, it's just the sun that absorbs all forms of matter and transforms it into dark energy, and then spits out dark energy. It absorbs matter and energy, spits out dark energy. The sun absorbs mass and spits out electromagnetic waves. They function the same, and they should function the same. That's it for today's podcast episode. I'll talk to you guys later.